Hey guys, here is today's card poll. So choose a card. We have A, B, or C. Take a breath, settle in, choose a card, and then listen up for the channeled message for each one. I'm Joanne Moore, and here we are today with our weekly guidance for the week from the angels. So excuse me, if you are new here, I channel a collective of angels called SAM, and together we bring messages that are practical, always practical, and just right for where you are in your life right now. So choose a card, A, B, or C, and then let's listen to the message. A little tongue-tied today. Okay. So we're going to start off with card A, and this card is from the Oracle of the Fairies deck. So pretty. And it's by Karen K. Oh, okay. So today's card is Temptation. That is gorgeous. See the snake? Yeah, tempting. Okay. And I just feel inclined to read some of this. So, oh, are you in denial? Denial comes through very strongly. About unhealthy habits, perhaps ones that make you feel guilty. Ooh. Oh, okay. Got it. Temptation. Let's see what Sam has to say. Oh, we are sinking in, dear one. We are arriving. We are here. Yes, yes. Oh. For it is the feeling of guilt that indicates that this is not in alignment with us or your higher self. Yes, yes. Remember that your tuning fork, your receiving tower is your feelings. Yes, your body, your humanness is indeed how you are instructed, how you are guided through how you feel. That is why we harp on how do you feel? How do you feel? For that is the indicator. Yes, yes. So if you are in the moment of doing something feeling guilty, then pause. For guilt is not a good feeling, we are quite sure. If you pause in this moment, you can tell, you can ask your higher self, you can ask your receiving tower, yourself, your humanness, is the guilt because I am out of alignment in what I am doing? Or is the feeling of unease guiding me to look at, to engage, examine my beliefs around what I am doing? Perhaps it is not the act itself that is perhaps bringing upon this feeling of unease or guilt or whatever you may call it, but the wiggly feeling that is not your highest self or your indicator of love. For it does not automatically mean that what you are eating or doing is out of alignment, but rather the beliefs you hold around it. Yes, this is where we would invite you to spend more time looking rather than condemning yourself or judging yourself for doing the action or eating the food or drinking the wine. Rather, is it your perhaps belief system around this? Perhaps it is a memory. Yes, perhaps it is many things, but the only way to know for sure is to engage in the inquiry, yes, that is causing the unease. For sometimes we will put temptation in front of you for you to have an opportunity to look at this. For if the cookie or wine or partner was not there in front of you, you would not be looking or you would not be feeling the unease, which is the indicator to please look here. Yes, unease, guilt, sadness, anger, anything that is related to the emotion of fear, the energy of fear, that is there and an opportunity rather than judging yourself as I am doing this wrong and then putting your head under the blanket. We invite you to engage with it. Yes, notice this week where you are feeling most unease and that this is an opportunity. Yes. Yes. Oh, look, I feel awful. This is perfect. Now I am reminded to inquire in this realm a little more, to dig a little deeper. This indeed is an opportunity. Have fun, dear ones, feeling unease this week. Okay, that's funny. It was like half of me felt totally awful and half of me felt excited. And it was like split down the middle. It was like half was like, oh, and the other half was like, oh yeah. Like it was, yeah, okay. That was interesting. So unease. And they tell us all the time, our body is the receiving tower for information. This is how we get our intuition. This is how we connect with source. This is how we connect with our higher self and our guides. And our the feeling of anything other than love is the indicator that we're out of alignment. But that's interesting about that it might not be the action you're taking, but rather the beliefs you hold around it. So it's less about the cookie and more about the beliefs you hold about what the cookie brings up. That's interesting. Okay, I like that one. Okay, if you picked card B is from the Divine Energy Oracle deck from Sonia Choquette, one of my faves. Pretty blunt. Say no. Just say no. Let's see what they have to say. We do not need to speak on this one much, do we? For you, dear one, if you have chosen card B, have been in the habit, yes, the habit, the unconscious habit of saying yes before you actually ponder, before you actually feel into the situation or the invitation. Rather, you go ahead and say yes. We would invite you to say no more often. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. But rather, before you say yes, pause, feel into it. Does this feel expansive or does this feel heavy? Do I feel a sense of dread immediately, or rather a sense of joy and anticipation? We are always amused by humans who think that they will hurt someone's feelings for saying no, but rather, if someone said no to you, you are rarely upset. So why would they be? Thank you so much for inviting me. I totally appreciate it. And I will have to pass. There you go. Done. But as in the last card, it is an invitation to notice, to be aware, to inquire, to notice how you feel, for this is always, always, always the indicator of a yes or no. Does this feel in alignment? And perhaps once again, I am feeling unease or upset or because I have a belief system that they will judge me if I say no. So we invite you to separate the worry or concern about what others feel or think about you and simply concentrate, focus your intention on the invitation. They have invited me to partake in a party or a dinner. Never mind them, but simply how do I feel about going to dinner? If I feel heavy and constricted, the answer is no. And then I may separate out Is there another belief system, or am I worried about their judgment or what they think of me? Hold that in a separate bubble. When you separate them out, you can distinguish your intuition for each idea or concept. One, for the invitation, and two, for how you think about people will think about you. When you get in the habit of separating them, then you may distinguish where you are saying yes, when in truth it is simply because you are worried of what they think of you, not because you are excited in engaging in the invitation. Mhm. This, dear one, is also an opportunity. Have fun. See each choice in a bubble and separate the people who are inviting you in a separate bubble so that you may engage with one at a time. You may even imagine, as this one is currently, that the invitation is here in one bubble and the people who invited are in another bubble. And when you are ready to do an inquiry into one, you pop the bubble and they land in your hand. Then you may engage with how you feel about that particular bubble. You may be very surprised by how often you say yes, when you mean no, or when you say no and you really want to do it. And yet it is your feeling or imagination about the other person that is actually guiding your answer and less about the invitation itself. Enjoy your week, dear one. Oh, that was cool. I like that. I mean, how often do we actually pay attention to the invitation separated from whoever invited us? We don't. We kind of lump it all together and then we think that, yeah, our unease perhaps is about the invitation when actually it's about our fear about what somebody else will think of us. Imagine that, being human. And always, always have grace with yourself. Yes. Okay. Card number C. So if you pick C this week, you are from The Shaman's Dream by Alberto Villoldo and Colette Baron-Reid. And this week's card, ooh, so Vanishing Mirror, Ego Sublimation. Isn't that pretty? The artwork is so cool. Okay. Hmm. We are amused by the idea that the ego will go away. So many of you are under the assumption that the ego is a bad thing, but rather the ego is what makes you human. It is what separates you from every other energy being in the universe. Yes, your ego is what helped you forget who you truly are. So it is a valuable tool, dear one, a valuable tool. It will not go away. But we invite you this week to notice that it may sit behind. It may not be perhaps the most dominant image you see in the mirror, but rather we invite you to gaze into the mirror and notice you, the you that is spirit, the you that is a fractal of source that contains the entire universe all in you. For a fractal is not a part of the whole, but a distinct representation of the whole itself. Just as a drop of water or a wave in the ocean represents the ocean. There is nothing missing from the wave that is not in the ocean. You, as a fractal of source, contain the entire universe. And this is the part, the spirit of you, the soul of you, the part of you, the whole of you that is created of love. And as you gaze in the mirror this week, look for that person, that fractal of source. Allow momentarily the ego to simply shift to the background. And rather than sitting up front in the driver's seat, the ego is, as some of your effects on your phone, it is the blurred background rather than the focus up front. For the ego is not going anywhere, for if it disappears, then you stop to be human. It is doing its job, and very well, we might add. For without it, you would not be experiencing humanity as you are. It is the part of you that helps you forget. Yes, yes. It is the part of you that helps you experience this world as a human. For without your ego, you would simply be energy. It is the part of you that tries to convince you that you are separate from everyone and everything else. And because you arrived here on earth for the experience of forgetting and then remembering, without the ego, that would not be possible. So we applaud the ego for doing its job so well. And the more you remember, the more it gets faintly foggy, slightly blurry around the edges, and sits in the back. For that too is the job of the ego. As you remember, its power has less hold, but that does not mean that it disappears completely. No, no. It will help keep your humanity safe. It will help keep your physical body doing and being all that it should. So do not try to make it disappear, but allow yourself to see you, the whole of you, the fractal of source that is so divine. Yes, yes, dear ones. So we invite you this week to gaze in the mirror. Do not rush as you brush your teeth and brush your hair and so forth, but rather pause for a moment and look. See the ego beside you or behind you. And notice how Source sees you. Notice how we see you, the true of you, the all of you, the spirit of you. Momentary glimpses of that of you will impact your life in ways you have no idea. You cannot even imagine. For when you see Source in you in the mirror, you bring about the ability to see it in others. And some of you perhaps can see it in others before you see it in self. So as you gaze at others, allow yourself to see their true self, their soul, their spirit, their all that is, so that you may recognize it as well in yourself in the mirror. Oh, dear ones, if you take this on, you are in for a big surprise. We guarantee the impact is immeasurable. We love you all so much. Oh, that was really cool. That was, yeah, that was cool. Okay, guys, that's it for this week. Leave a comment below. You know what to do. It's YouTube. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share because I know that you know somebody who this would be perfect for. See you guys. Have a fabulous week.